Chris, it's 2 years since we met in KunstSmedjen, and you had an exhibition there.
Yes.
And now you have moved, and how is your life in Roskilde?
It's surprisingly normal and pleasant. Yeah, this is the first year in a house with our family. My children have only ever lived in apartments in New York City and an apartment, you know, in Musicon, and now we have a house, and it's very easy to live in a bigger place where everybody gets their own room, and I have this studio now, and my wife has an office. It's very nice, very nice.
Are you still bicycling around?
Oh yeah, I still haven't learned to drive.
And how about your artwork?
Well, I've had some major changes in my life. The website where I was working for the first 2.5 years that we lived in Denmark was purchased, and everybody got fired. And the industry that I work in has been changing. It has become very politically active in the United States, and they are extremely supportive of Donald Trump. And I don't really feel like I belong in that industry anymore. That is, you know, not my way of seeing the world or treating people. And I had a very hard year in 2024, emotionally and career-wise. You know, I had worked with this website since 2018. I had been in the mixed martial arts media since 2012. And what do you do when you're in a midlife and in a different country? And it's terrifying. It was a very hard year. And then I kind of calmed down and realized I live in Denmark. I want to build a life here and stay. So I started a business. I pay taxes through the business, and now I'm starting to make work like about this adopted home, this new country, and what I see and what I experience, and the people and the landscape, and how profoundly different it is than where I come from.
And what do you like about the landscapes here?
We're at a different latitude than New York City, and we just marvel at the sky, the trajectory of the sun, like the profound difference between the seasons. You know, my wife and I say to ourselves, you really feel like you're in a rock in space. You know, you can sit and just watch the stars move and everything. And I did not grow up with nature. I grew up in Brooklyn and Queens throughout my young years, and I never spent time in a lake. You know, you would have to go on vacation and travel, and now, you know, I do my ice swimming, and I spend a lot of time. It's just so easy to go somewhere. I love going to Boserup, which I am pronouncing poorly, but
no, I understand.
Okay. You know, that's what, 25 minutes on the bike, and I love going there. I go, please.
So your painting there, is that from Boserup?
Yes, it is.
I can see.
It's from and it's like a very specific memory from the first time we went there. Just following a path, ending up where the shelters are. And you kind of pop out of the forest, and you look and you see the fjord, and then you look across and you're like, oh, look, there's a beach over there. And we couldn't figure out how to get there. We had to go home and come back another time before we could make it. And you know, I feel so good when Danes look at this piece and they say, I know that tree. Like, it is an integral part of the landscape, the scene, you know, and everybody, oh, my kids, they love to climb that. Everyone, they know what that is, and you want to capture a piece of the landscape that everyone knows, that everyone takes for granted, especially when we first came here. Danes would kind of downplay the amount of nature here. Oh, you got to go to Sweden to go to a forest. Oh, you got to go to Norway to see a fjord. I'm like, oh, you don't know what you have because you have it.
And in the way you have painted it, it's really a magic.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, this is. I'm going to now. I'll probably start incorporating people into some of these, but there is just a general peacefulness to a lot of the scenes that I wanted to convey to start with. Like that's why, I mean, there are people in my Pusher Street series, but for the landscapes, I just decided, like, I marvel at it, you know, at the size and the height. That's another thing.
And the blue sky and.
Very much. I mean, that's a treat, right? Now I have a different appreciation for like, oh, I saw the sun. It must be a good day.
Yeah, that's the way it is to live in Denmark. Then
Yeah.
you appreciate when the sun shines.
Yeah, you do. You do. You have a new appreciation for just like the act of being in the weather. You know, I own proper rain gear. You know, never owned that before. You know, you just kind of tough it out.
And the fresh air.
Oh my God. Dude, I go back home and I feel like, this stinks. This is, whoa. It's unreal. I love it. I love it. I grew up with asthma and breathing problems, and I grew up in an extremely poor neighborhood. And I always wondered, like, oh, maybe that's why that happened to me. And, you know, it's amazing to see my kids go through a certain age and be like, oh, they don't have the same problems that I did at that age, and that's something else. That's something special.
So you appreciate to bicycle around and.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been a bicyclist forever. Like even in Manhattan, that's the way to live, you know. And the fact that I appreciate more the infrastructure that supports bicycling. That's what's special. That's out of control.
And now you are preparing an exhibition.
Yes.
In Christiania.
Mm-hmm. Cafe Månefiskere.
Månefiskere.
Yeah, they put out an open call looking for artists to do 1 month throughout the year of 2025. And my friend Morten, who owns Merk, he texted me and said, oh, you should check this out. So, you know, I packed up my stuff and I went to the cafe just to see the space, to see what the vibe is. And the woman who books everything was there. And I said, oh, all right, show her the laptop. She's like, you're in. Let's do this. January. I was like, well, no. I'm going to New York, and, you know, for the holidays, I won't be in, you know, jet lagged and all that. So I said, okay, February. So yeah. February 8th at Moonfisher in Christiania. Yeah, I'm going to show about 50 paintings. And this new series is, I'm so excited to have this be what kind of my hello party.
And what is it? What kind of technique are you using?
This is something that I came up with about 15 years ago, back when I was living in New York. I always painted on wood. I liked it better than canvas, and I guess I was in a hardware store, and I found those wood stains, and they were in a marker form. And I was like, oh, I bought a couple of those, and I, you know, colored in some of my paintings using those, and it looked great. You put like that skipslack on it, and it has this like candy-like or stained glass kind of look, and I don't know, something like a light went off. Like, this is it. You're on to something. And I just investigated. I studied how do they get different colors? Where do they come from? And I found out that the people who make Broadway theater sets and like the television studio sets, they use this stuff called aniline dye. And it's manufactured in Manhattan, obviously, to support these industries. And I spent a lot of money researching and investigating how to do this, and I came up with like a very environmentally and non-toxic way to do it, because I definitely poisoned myself once, you know, and through the trial and error. But now I have these dyes, and then I kind of mix them myself to make them amenable to painting, and then I would burn the wood by hand, and that it became unsustainable. It was too much wear and tear on my arm. And now I'm here in Musicon, and there is Orange Makers, which I found out is supported by the Nordea Fonden, and they have an enormous laser, and the nice people there, they taught me how to use it. So I turn my charcoal, I go out and I do like charcoal drawings, and then I come home and I put them in the iPad and I redraw them as these monoline digital images that the laser can read. And that's how I burn all of these, and then from there I can paint it. It's called Renography. It's a Chris Rini's way of making art.
The picture with the house,
yes.
Could it show us how you are working? So you start with the burning?
Actually, I mean, I start with a charcoal drawing, and then I'll make a digital version of it. You know, basically just take a picture with your phone, put it in the iPad, and redraw it. And from there, I go to Orange Makers, and I can laser engrave it from there. So this is like a major, like, finally something that you did, like a 19th century, you know, burnt, you know, wood and paper. Like now it's like this thing, this like object, and from there I can make. I have my colors. You know, this is my original set of colors that I brought from New York, which you can see a lot of them here. That I, you know, I was going to joke that they're locally sourced glasses, but I think everything at Sostenigrene is from China, right? I just got some new ones. I'm going to make a whole bunch of new colors.
But what do you like about the colors?
So you may be able to see a little bit of gloss here. They're made to sink into the wood. Wood stain sits on top, even paint sits on top of the canvas, and aniline dye goes into the wood itself. And what I love is the actual grain. I think the wood grain is stunning, and it's beautiful on its own, and it adds a lot of variety to the artwork that is outside of the human hand. You know, I like to give up a lot of control, even though this probably seems rather strict. I'm as a person, I don't want to have too much control in life. That's too much work. You know, I like giving up a piece. So the wood kind of dictates a little bit how the picture goes. So from this one to this one, that there's going to be a little subtle variation. And I just, to kind of challenge myself, I tried to do a monochromatic piece. But this one here, actually, I let my daughter paint that one. Because yeah, I didn't like the way the burn came. The laser, it functions like an X, and what you want is where the two laser points, when they touch each other, that's when you want it to hit the wood, and that's what gives you a really fine line. And this one, the line is like there, you know. And so I said to her, yeah, you could paint that one. I told her I'd sell it at the show, and I'll give her 20%. So that's the one, folks. You got to get that one. Yeah. So this is. So one of the other things is that there's no going back. This is just a one-time pass of color. You can't erase. You can't get lighter. You can pretty much just get darker after the first layer dries. And that's why I'll burn multiples to kind of play with variations on how to present something.
And the next picture from the woods?
I actually just love moss. I used to make terrariums with my daughter during COVID, and I just think moss is one of the most beautiful things in nature. It looks like an electric kind of green. It's just interesting to me. And, you know, going through the forest, like, I just was kind of I just liked the way they stacked up like little, I don't know, roofs on the fallen trees. And then only after drawing it, I realized there was this really nice, I think of these paintings within the boards as like a window. And this one felt like, oh yeah, I'm drawing people in. There's like this road that kind of comes up this way, and then the tree line goes back that way. And I really like these shadows here because I didn't laser them in. As I, you know, refine my technique, I find that I can be more painterly and not so rigid. You know, almost everything here is spelled out where all the shadows are, and here this is just kind of inventing something new as it goes along. That was very exciting.
I would like to jump into the into the painting and have a walk there.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Thanks.
And again, there's this magic feeling about the work.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of the movies of Hayao Miyazaki, who is a Japanese animator, great love of nature and appreciation for like these still moments that in his movies they don't add to the plot, they add to the atmosphere and the aesthetic of it. And I also very much love the 1930s Japanese woodblock prints of the artist Yoshida, who came to America and did these woodblock prints of the American Southwest that were profoundly influential on me because, you know, this is a person from Japan showing me a piece of America in a way that I've never seen before. And that's a huge reason why I'm doing this. Like, I realize that, you know, you don't even have to try. You just do your thing in a different place and you're just like, hey, did you notice that you have this? Like, by mixing cultures, you can find, you know, find a new color, you know, a new way of seeing it.
And what about that picture?
This is Castellet Island. This is a real, you know, a favorite moment for me and my family because it's when we were brand new in Denmark and still, you know, it was May, so, you know, the city is just coming to life. Everything is turning green, and you're just discovering where you live. You know, we arrived in kind of the tail end of the winter, so we had no idea what this place looked like at all. And there was a cherry blossom festival there, and I was just stunned. I was just stunned by this landscape. This, you know, it's not natural like the forest. It is very manicured, very orchestrated, but still very, very lovely and beautiful and quiet and peaceful and this whole thing. And I just did this drawing because I was like, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I can't believe what's happening in my life. I never thought my life would turn out this way. I've probably said that a dozen times, you know, since living here. Swimming in the ice, you know, like while it's snowing on me, like, I can't believe my life turned out like this. And that was the first time I ever said it, I think. But yeah, that's where we are. So that's one of my favorites. I made it the poster for the exhibition because, I don't know, it just touches me.
Do you also fancy those trolls in the landscape?
Yeah, I do love them. I do enjoy. I did this one of Thomas Dambo's trolls. I've been really lucky. I met some people that work for him, and I've been to his studio a bunch of times, and they're very nice people there. They welcome me to some of their like group celebrations, like Thanksgiving or end of summer, and you know, it's very, very generous to go someplace and just be welcomed. This is the one that sits in Christiania right before you get to Pusher Street, and I have a series that I'm doing about Pusher Street because they used to have no photos policy there. So I would go down there and draw all the dealers and the people who are shopping, and I thought that was a cute way of getting around it. And then when I heard that they were going to shut it down, I actually went down and interviewed a bunch of people that work in Christiania, and another artist who does work there. And that's a part of a little documentary series that I'm making, which I think I'll put together after this exhibition. Yeah, it's another part of looking at this world, you know. But this and your palettes and your reusing things and the trolls are just fun. And geometrically, it's a fun thing to paint. That's just a nice thing. That's
something special, really.
Yeah.
And now, when you have had exhibitions at KunstSmedjen, and the Musicon area, do you think you can compare that with the atmosphere at Christiania?
You know, there's a joke that Musicon is capitalist Christiania, but truthfully, the warmth of the people in any creative area is very, very familiar. When you're in an area of like people who feel like they're weird or different or don't quite fit in the world, like, you know, some of them are just the most wonderful people, and they're welcoming and helpful, and some of them are like, I've got my piece, I can be a king in the weird area, you know, and they're protective, and that's how people are in the normal world or in the weird world. But honestly, I'm excited to get to do something in Christiania. I think it's a special place in Copenhagen that is very different, and I'm grateful to get to, you know, add a little drop of color to their rainbow.